Morning, it's Friday. Let's do an overnight live feed update. There have been some changes to some of the plans and information that I had in my previous video last night. So if you don't want any BB28 spoilers, now would be a good time to scroll on. So number one, in my video last night, I named what are the new have-nots for this week, and I think I was wrong about Lala. I don't think she is actually a have-not this week. I was kind of confused as to how there would be 5 have-nots since Rome was a have-not and he was evicted. I'm about 80% sure she's not a have-not. So just want to let you know that. However, D is a have-not. And I know people are probably going to go wild with this today. Not a lot of people are feeling too up on the icons as of late. But D did eat after the have not start time. She was up in the HOH room with Angela and Haley talking to Kamu. And I mean, genuinely, this was like 2 hours maybe after have not time started. And she's just talking and she's not paying attention. She's not thinking. So I think that this is 100% just a case of like production will talk to her in the diary room about it. I'm not expecting any kind of penalty here. Honestly, after season 21, I'd be really annoyed if there was a penalty for this. I'm just saying. However, Angela and Dee do a lot of celebrating early in the evening last night, talking about how they're thankful that they're safe another week, hoping that they have, the votes that either Dee or Devins get the power this week. And they talk about how they're going to take a back seat this week. They don't want to be seen up in Kamu's HOH room too many times. They don't want people tying them to any of the decisions that he wants to make. And then 5 minutes later, they come up with a plan to target Taylor. As far as Kamu, I heard him tell Drew, Taylor, Lyric, and Melody that they are all good this week. During his one-on-ones with all of them, I noticed that he definitely didn't say that to Lala in their conversation. When he talked to Lyric did a lot of talking about her relationship and dynamics with Melody and Mallory, doing a lot of not so much positive talking about Melody, who Kamu is actually working with, but I guess people, especially Lyric, don't realize that. And Kamu did share all of that information with Melody, so she is very well aware now that Lyric and Mallory actually don't trust her all that much. There was heavy consideration and heavy trying from Lyric last week to have Mallory be the one evicted. Obviously that didn't work out, but Lyric was also really, really flirty in her one-on-one with Kamu. She was sitting right next to him. I think I'm going to use a photo of it, but you can see in comparison to the other people how close she is. Kamu wasn't really a fan of this, and he mentioned it to Drew, and now there is a new plan on the way. The plan last night in my video was to nominate Mallory, Lala, and Jason, with Mallory and Jason being the targets, but mostly Jason. The new plan is to nominate Mallory, Lala, and Lyric, with the hope that Jason does not get pulled for veto, and then name Jason as replacement nominee at the veto ceremony, with the hope of either Jason or Mallory leaving this week. This plan was, like I said, Drew's idea. Initially, Kamu had wanted to give Jason 2 chances to be able to save himself, but Drew was like, if you really want to actually get someone out, then it needs to be a renom situation. On top of that, he said, if you have Mallory and Jason both on the block come blockbuster time, you're more likely to get a big competitive target out, rather than if you let Jason win power of veto and then you nominate Lyric at that point, which was Kamu's initial plan, is that if he nominates Lala, Mallory, and Jason, and one of those 3 happens to win veto or gets veto used on them, then he would use Lyric as his replacement nominee. So he's kind of just changing up the order to prevent Jason from having extra chance to save himself. So for now, that is the plan. I know he intends to talk to each of these people to kind of give them a heads up as much as he is allowed to within the rules of the game prior to the nomination ceremony. The ceremony, I'm sure, will happen again later today, with the power reveal happening before nomination ceremony like last week. If someone gets the power this time, we may not be able to tell until very much later into the day, when that person maybe is alone with one other person that they're willing to share that information with, or they may keep it to themselves and we may not know until Sunday. So we'll see what happens there. If they get a punishment, we'll know, but if someone gets a power, we may not find out until the episode. But it's Friday. It's nominations. We'll see how it goes. I'm really tired. I'm going to go get coffee. The feeds have not gone down for the nomination ceremony yet, but I don't see anything with the current plan changing. So let's go ahead and catch up on everything going on in the BB28 house today. If you haven't watched my overnight live feed update, our current head of household is Kamu, and his plan still at this moment is to nominate Lyric, Mallory, and Lala, with a overall plan of renomming Jason, and either Mallory or Jason being the one to leave at the end of the week. Today, Kamu has had conversations with Lyric, Mallory, and Lala. His conversation with Lyric, he pretty much told her what his whole plan is, with Jason being the target, told her that there is absolutely no way that she is going home this week, promised to use the power of veto on her, and I think that's a dumb idea, but anyways, to make that promise already is a dumb idea. He doesn't even know who's going to play in it, but he was pretty much like saying that he has talked to everyone and like no matter what, the veto is going to be used on her. I don't know that that's actually going to be true. Put up a lot of fight. She is not happy to be upon. She cried a lot. Her and Mallory have been crying all day. Kamu's conversation with Lala was really interesting, I guess. He told her that he is aware of the alliance with Taylor, Angela, Dee, and he said Haley as well, but Haley is not in that alliance. They had discussions about bringing her in, but Haley didn't want to join that alliance. And so Lala is pretty positive that Haley is the one that gave this information to Kamu. I did see Haley talk to him about that this morning. I'm not sure if Angela and Dee had already discussed that with him or not. I may have missed that, but I do know Haley talked to him about that this morning. So Lala is not happy with Haley. She already doesn't really like Haley in general, but really not happy with her now. She gave a warning to Angela and Dee about the whole situation. Angela and Dee, the reason I'm questioning if they knew that Kamu knew this information is because this afternoon they were talking about how like they're starting to not trust Haley and they don't really like some of the facial expressions that Haley like makes towards them when they're talking to other people. So I'm wondering if the Drew paranoia is switching over to Haley paranoia, which would actually make me very happy if that is the case. Kamu's conversation with Mallory did not go well at all. He said that the reason that he is nominating her is because she has said that if she were to win HOH, she would nominate either the Icons, Barrett, or Red Corner, which is Kamu, Chuck, and Haley. Mallory denied ever saying this. She did actually say that she has said before that she would nominate Dee and Devins, but her third person would be Jason. However, Mallory has said this before. Even when she was done talking to Kamu, when she was talking to some of her close friends, she genuinely seems like she doesn't remember ever mentioning anyone from Red Corner. So has a conversation with Jason and tells him that he is not nominating him today. He made that very clear. He kept reiterating, "You're not being nominated today." Then he also had Jason make him a promise that if he plays in the Power of Veto competition and wins the Power of Veto, that he will use the Power of Veto in whatever way Kamu says in exchange for his safety today. I'm not sure why Kamu is making this the promise that he wants from Jason. I don't know if he doesn't understand the game and understand that if Jason uses the power of veto, he still himself is safe and can't be nominated. I feel like if you're concerned about Jason winning the power of veto, you should probably be making a pitch for a deal of safety the following week when you can't play in the head of household competition. It was a really weird promise to have Jason make because there's really no benefit to Kamu out of that scenario, to be honest. So I'm really confused by that. As far as our power for the week, as soon as I saw this right here, I knew that he had won the power. I'd been seeing his name at the top of a lot of the polls, but it was like, is he going to actually be able to get the power, or is he going to end up with a punishment this week? But after seeing him come out of the diary room, and then we got these reaction shots when he got into a room by himself, Devin's 100% has a power. We do not know yet what it is. He hasn't had a chance to be in a room alone with Angela and Dee, so I'm not sure if he's going to share that information with them. You're from the future, so Devin's just had a conversation with Dee, and he did share with her that he has a power. The power that he has is the diamond power of veto. It will last the next 6 veto ceremonies. And him and Dee said they are going to keep this between just the two of them, and they will only use it on the two of them unless they absolutely have to use it on someone else. So there we have it. Devins currently has the diamond power of veto. So that is all the updates for today. There's been a ton of chatting amongst a lot of people, but the big things are when feeds finally do go down for nominations, when they come back up, you're going to see on the block Mallory, Lyric, and Lala. And Devins does have a power, probably not going to be used this week because he feels safe, but who knows?